Hello.
Hey, howdy.
We have two divisions left. We're going to
Hmm.
tell you how many games each team's going to win, and we're going to be way off, but
Yes,
you're going to listen to us.
truth.
NFC North, Bears and Vikings division.
Hmm.
NFC South, toilet bowl division,
Worst division
possibly.
in football, right?
I mean,
Is there what are the other contenders? What's the other
both of the Souths, I would say, are bad. The Texans should run away with the AFC
one
South.
would think?
And the NFC South, I mean, you could make a case that the Falcons, Panthers, Saints, and Buccaneers will all be not very good.
Hmm.
Obviously, the Falcons, I guess, have the most upside, but let's get into the
Huh.
NFC North first.
North.
We got the Bears, Josh's Bears.
Well, they're the Bears, the Chicago Bears. I don't know
Yeah,
if I take ownership of them at this point.
yeah.
Um,
17 and 0 or what? Skip next. 17 and 0
Done.
next.
Book it, Dano.
Okay. We've talked about their first six games, most of them being fairly easy on paper. Again, you don't
Supposedly.
always know who's going to be good or not, but so they were bad last year. Got
They were.
Williams, easy-ish schedule, maybe. Um, Caleb Williams played really well when he was in there in preseason. There's a lot of upside. They traded for Keenan Allen. They picked up DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm.
They drafted Rome Odunze.
Rome Dunze.
Or
Yep.
Rome, however you say it. One in Rome.
Mm.
Gerald Everett, they picked up as a tight end. I don't think I knew that.
Uh-uh. They got Cole Kmet starting. Everybody loves him.
Yeah, he had a pretty good year last
Yeah,
year.
he's fine.
And then DJ Moore had a good year. Obviously
Yeah.
expected to do great things with Williams.
Yep.
So, and then they retained a lot of their defense. That was
They
good.
did. I mean, Montez Sweat came in the middle of last year and immediately became the best player on their, well, maybe not the best player, certainly the best pass rusher they had. Sweat was the leading sack getter on two different teams last year.
Sack man.
He was sack man for Washington and Chicago. Um, Yeah, and they just picked up some other pass rush here in the past few days. I think they traded somebody for somebody on Seattle and a linebacker. I they're gonna suck, man. I'm not gonna buy into the hype. I don't think they're
I'm
gonna
with
be
you.
very good.
I think they're gonna, yeah, I mean, I think they're gonna, I wouldn't call it underachieve. I mean,
I mean, they
some,
won 7 games last year, so that was, I think, an overachievement last year. I think that's probably like to see success, they've probably got to win 10 games, and I don't honestly see it. I just don't. Maybe that's just me being a Bears fan and just having history, the weight of history. But I think they're gonna suck.
yeah, I agree. So here's the case for them not doing as well as a lot of people. Like, a lot of people are hyped about them, right? They got the quarterback and
Yep.
like they played well
Number one
towards the end
pick.
of last year and all,
Yep.
they picked up all these free agents and they drafted well, supposedly. So I still don't think Eberflus is a very good coach.
No.
Williams, it looks good, but he's a rookie. There's
Yeah.
been rookies who've looked good, supposed to be good, who
Preseason
are
doesn't count.
terrible.
Yeah.
The division's going to be tough.
Yep.
I mean, Lions, Packers. Most people think they're going to have decent seasons. The
Yep.
Vikings, maybe not so much, but if you look
Hmm.
at it, like, I mean, I think they're well coached. Like, Darnold is probably serviceable to maybe go 500. We'll see. Um, so
Yes, we will.
for those reasons, I don't know. Like, I don't see the Bears like going 10-7, 11-6, or anything like that. I'm actually going to go 7-10.
Oh, a repeat, huh?
Yes,
Repeat.
they're going to go 7-10 for the next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah, I mean that would be an uptick, I think, over what they did the previous 10 years. I'm gonna go one less. I'm gonna go 6-11. This maybe is a pretty big zag from what's popular right now, but I don't think their offensive line. I don't think they've done enough there. The pass rush. I think there's still a question mark with with how effective it's going to be. And yeah, man, Eberflus, I just don't buy it at all. Him as a good coach. I mean, they went 7-10 last year, which is weird considering their quarterback was such a big question mark, and they didn't get that sweat until the middle of the season. So maybe there's an argument to me that he's a great coach, but I just don't buy it. I mean, I think I would put more money on him being fired at the end of the season than I would on them making the playoffs or even having a winning record and not making the playoffs. I think odds are better that he's gone.
So we talked a little bit about organizations that don't fire coaches before the season's
That's
over.
right.
You said the Bears
Have never done it.
they've never done it.
Have
Okay.
never done it.
That was popping into my head too. I was starting to think if the Bears start 2-7, but they'll just ride it out. Which
yeah, they will. I mean that they'll let him go by the end of the season. I guess Poles gets another shot at it, but
yeah, because if they're 2-7, I mean, like last year, they could finish 5-3 and go 7-10, and then maybe Eberflus gets another season.
I don't see them with another losing season. I don't see him getting another shot. But who knows? But like what the Packers last year, they started 3-6, and then they made the playoffs, won a playoff game, and almost beat San Francisco at home. So I mean, starting bad doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be out of it. But I don't see them having the coach that the Packers have, or I mean, we don't know about the quarterback. If Caleb Williams is brilliant, then who knows, right? Everything's on the table, right? If he becomes as good as everybody wants him to be, then yeah, they're going to be a good team because they've got a good quarterback, and that's what matters most. But I don't know.
Yeah, I'm ready to see who is hyped up too much and doesn't play well, and who's overlooked. And
Bears.
Pretty soon, like the Titans are 4-1 or something. Like
so that's their first game. That's the first game. I think Bears Titans. I think the Titans are going to win that game. I think the Titans are going to win that.
I think it will be close. I don't know if the Titans will win, but yeah, it's a definite I don't know, trap game. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's like, oh, we got the Titans coming in. They're not good.
No, exactly. And I think people say that the Bears, the front half of their schedule is the easy part, which they don't have any division games, I think, until week 8 or 9. I think if they're 500 by week 8 or 9, I would be surprised.
All right. Josh has 6-11 for the Bears. I have 7-10.
Yeah.
And now we're going to talk about let's go Vikings. Your team and then my team. Okay. The Vikings. McCarthy got hurt. He's done for the season. However, he was never supposed to start day one and probably was not going to play this year unless there was injuries, I would think. They've also had other injuries to receivers, like Addison got banged up, and so they've had more injuries than a lot of teams in the preseason. Jefferson just got the contract. Addison had a good year last year, so you got good receivers. I think they got rid of who was their running back last year? Alexander Madison. But I think Ty Chandler was a better running back, and that's why they decided to do that. So you got Ty Chandler, who I think is going to be a little overlooked and underrated by most people. And then Aaron Jones. They got Aaron Jones from the Packers. How old is Aaron Jones? 29. He seems like he's 35. It seems like he's
been around a while. Yeah, it seems like he's been in the league for a long time. Yeah.
I've always liked Aaron Jones. When he's healthy, I think he's really good.
Yeah.
He has had some injury issues. So I don't know. I'm gonna. This is probably not the right thing to do with your favorite team. I'm higher on them than most people are, so I am going to go. This is crazy. 9-8. Vikings 9-8, and 9-8. I don't know if. Well, obviously, no one knows how many wins it's going to take to make the playoffs, but they probably fall just short of the playoffs. I'm gonna say.
This is a weird team. I don't know if he's a good coach or not. They did make the playoffs, I think, in his first season, and then last year they had some bad luck. But I guess there's his first season, they had some good luck. I think the question's out on him being a good coach. I think there's some talent on this roster. Sam Darnold is not a good quarterback. You don't go to whatever he's in 5 teams in 6 years if you're a good quarterback. You just don't. Yeah, I think I think they will finish better than the Bears, so I'm going to go 7-10.
Okay. 7-10. And I'm going 9-8.
Yeah.
And you should never think your team's going to be better than
Mm-mm.
most people think. It's
Nope.
usually not good, but
Nope.
I'm going there.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Woo.
Oh, that was short and quick
Yes.
for the Vikings. You don't want to talk about them too much because it just brings bad juju. Okay. The Detroit Lions,
Leons.
who will bite your knees?
They're bite your kneecaps off. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna get down and tussle in the mud and the guts and the blood, the beer.
Them Lions.
Hmm.
Okay. Here's what I think. They're obviously the hunted
Yeah.
now. They were the hunters last year. I think Jared Goff played as well as he possibly
Hit
could
this
last
feeling.
year.
Yeah.
If you look at offensive line rankings of teams last year, I think the Lions are like number one or like close to number one. So they protected him really well.
Yep.
He's not gonna scramble and like run for first downs.
Nope.
He's probably one of the slowest quarterbacks in the league.
Very immobile.
I just see regression. Like I think every aspect of it, I think there's going to be regression for the Lions. I don't know for sure if that means they're going to have a losing record or if they're going to just barely make the playoffs or maybe just barely miss the playoffs. But I definitely think like if they go 11-6 this year, then look out. Like as long as they stay healthy, they're going to be really good for years to come. But I just don't think that's going to happen.
People love the Lions right now. Like there are a lot of people Super Bowl pick to, if not to just make it from the NFC, but to win it. I like you. I don't see it. I mean, this is historically one of the worst franchises in the league. Like they've never won a Super Bowl. They've never been to a Super Bowl. Ever.
They don't even know what the Super Bowl is.
They don't. They don't.
They can't spell it.
Well, that I don't know. They've hosted it a few times, but they've never been in it. I think the last championship they won, it was before the NFL formed, right? So to me, I think the weight of history sits right on their face this year. And I think they will be, I think they'll make the playoffs. I think they'll have a winning record, but I don't think they're going to win the division, and I don't see them making the Super Bowl.
So what do you got?
I got 10-7.
10-7. I'm going a tick lower. I'm going 9-8. I kind of wanted to go even lower than that, but let's not get crazy here. Yeah. All right. He's got 10-7 for your Lions, and I have 9-8.
Yep.
And now we're really moving fast today.
Yeah, we're going through it.
Okay. Maybe we
boom.
We need
effective, efficient,
pause and do
concise.
What's that?
Effective, efficient, concise.
Maybe we need to pause and do like a quick comedy bit or something like that.
Probably not, actually.
No, yeah. It's not.
That's not what anybody's tuning in for.
Improvisation, I don't know. Not going to go so hot, I don't think.
Mm.
Okay. Who haven't we talked about in this division? Oh, the Packers. So Jordan Love got paid diggly googly moogly dollars. And I don't know. There's definitely analysts who think he's not going to, who think he isn't as good as he showed the last half of last season. And then if you look at how he progressed and just got better, there's some people who think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. So I don't know. I think the Packers win the division this year.
I do too.
I think they're going to be good.
Yep.
I'm going 10-7 Packers.
I think, some of this has to be that we are fans of division rivals of the Packers and have just through our lives seen them dominate us on our teams, like just without effort, it seems. They just walk into great quarterbacks and then have decades of success. And then our franchises are not that.
I'd rather be wrong saying they're going to be 10-7 and they're 7-10 than vice versa.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're going to be great. I mean, I think I don't know. I want to say that the coach is out, the decision's still out on the coach, whether he's good. But I think after last season and what he did with Rodgers, his record, I think, speaks for itself. Until Love looks bad, I think you got to say that he's one of the better quarterbacks in the league, top 10 at least. Yeah, I like 11 wins. I think 11-6.
Yeah, and I mean, some people would argue like the people he was throwing to last year, like
Yeah.
so that there was the thing about Rodgers. It was like, how good are these
Yeah.
receivers, or is Rodgers just so good that like anyone can catch the
Mm-hmm.
ball? I think you kind of have a similar thing with Love because a
Yeah.
lot of his receivers are young and he's the only one who's thrown them the ball really. So you might really not really know whether it's how much of it's
Mm-mm.
Love and how much of it's the receivers. Like Dobbs is 24. Malik Heath, he didn't play a lot, but he's
Mm.
24. Um, Jalen Reed, Bo Melton, 25, 24. Christian Watson, 25.
Yeah.
Dontavian Wicks, 23. Like he's got all these young receivers. They all
Yeah.
played pretty well last year,
Yep.
and they're all back. Yeah, I think there's going to be some continuity. The one thing you could say is like, okay, you know, Daniel Jones got paid and then he was
Mhm.
terrible.
He was kind
Obviously,
of terrible before that. I mean,
it,
he wasn't good.
yeah, some people were like, well, why did he
It
get paid
wasn't
that much
good.
money?
Yeah, it
And then
was
they
a
were kind of
mistake.
whatever vindicated. But
Mistake.
yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I think Daniel Jones is as good a quarterback as Jordan Love.
No, nowhere near it. Like he's never
Right.
put anything up against like what Love did last year.
But yeah, I mean, I think if you're a Packers fan, there's a lot to be excited about. Sadly, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't, well, we seem to overlook the defenses. I
Hmm.
didn't really see what they did on defense, but judging by the talent they have on offense, they probably must have used some draft picks and signed some free agents on defense, like went after some guys, because that was, I guess, their weakness last year. I mean, their defense maybe got better as the year went on, but it was definitely, I would say, their weakness towards the end of
Yeah.
the year. So,
I mean, they lost to Carolina.
really?
Yeah, later in the season. Yeah, I think like their
Boy!
one loss, like after they went on that win streak, I think was to Carolina. Yeah, we didn't talk about really. We talked about the defense of the Bears. We didn't really talk about the defense of the Lions or the Vikings. But I mean, the Lions should have a pretty decent defense. I don't. I think the strength of the Packers is clearly their offense. They've got an offensive-minded head coach. They've got potentially again like one of the top 10, top 5 quarterback in the league. That's what you need to win football games in the NFL.
So, Rashawn Gary, Preston Smith, Kenny Clark, uh, who else? Quay Walker, linebacker, Jair Alexander. I mean, a lot of those guys were there last year. Those are kind of the names that stick out to me.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that they retained more of their starters than the average team. Like there was a lot of like trades and
Yeah.
guys, whatever, free agency and all this, and it just seems like they have a lot of continuity. And so
I think that's the Packers in general, though, isn't it? Like historically, they're not a team that does a lot of moves, that does a lot of trades,
I
that
suppose
is very splashy.
when you hit the quarterback
Yeah,
right every
yeah.
time, you don't have to get crazy.
When you've got 30 years of excellent quarterback play, it's like, maybe you don't have to be as flashy in the other elements of your roster building.
Yeah, all right. Enough about them. I don't want to talk about them
No, I
anymore.
think there'll be plenty of time to talk about them during the season when they fucking run away with things. Assholes.
Okay, that's maybe the quickest we've gone through a division. We
Yeah.
had
I
the
want to spend too
NFC
much time
North
dwelling on
in
it.
20 minutes.
Boom.
And now we have the NFC South.
Worst division in football, probably.
There was a quarterback that played for the Vikings last year, and now he doesn't play for the Vikings, and he plays for this other team called the Atlanta Falcons. His name is Kirk, and
Captain Kirk.
I hope he doesn't do very well.
Do you want to see Michael Penix Jr. in there, or do you just want to see him fail because he's an ex-Viking?
I don't know. Like
Yeah.
I think they overpaid for him for where he's at
Oh
in his
my God, they
career.
completely did.
So did the Vikings, but I just want to see like
It made more sense when the Vikings did it, though,
yeah, I don't
because
know.
that
And
was
like
4 or 5 years ago, whatever it was.
it seems like the Falcons are good at making bad decisions
Yeah.
sort of lately, and I kind of want to see that continue.
I would love to see them implode. This was so dumb to pay him all that money and then go out and draft a quarterback like eighth, and then a quarterback with as many knee injuries as Kirk Cousins has. It's like more.
And I sort of do want to see him struggle, and then like I want the discussion at least of like should Penix play
Yeah.
start happening.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if this is just rumors, but I mean, some people were saying that like he was a little disgruntled, like why did they draft him?
Mm-hmm.
But kind of like playing it professionally. I don't know. So that's where I'm at with the drama I hope for from the Falcons. I think I alluded to this a little bit earlier. Like this division
Sucks.
might suck. Like it
Sucks.
should suck
Yeah.
mostly. So if you like, most people are going to pick the Falcons to win this division
Yep.
because they have the best quarterback. They've got Bijan Robinson and
Mm-hmm.
Pitts, and their other receivers are. Who did they pick anyone up? Their other receivers weren't spectacular.
Mm-mm.
Um, who's their number one receiver? I don't even know.
I mean, I don't know. I think a lot of people feel like this team is going to be infinitely better because their coach is different. And the coach they had last year for the last several years was disinterested in utilizing their skill position players effectively. And so people feel like now that they've got somebody else in as the coach, we'll see Kyle Pitts maybe used as he was supposed to be used. We'll see Bijan Robinson break out. I think a lot of people think he might be the best running back in the league this year now, especially because McCaffrey's hurt, and Brees Hall's coming off a significant injury. People love this team to win the division. I don't. I just don't.
You know what I like? I like not having to scroll through 100 wide receivers on every roster.
Yeah, and everybody's down to 53 now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Drake London's their number one. He kind of emerged last year, had a pretty solid
Yeah.
year with Ritter throwing to him.
Yeah. Who's now been cut.
He went to where?
Ritter was cut. Like he's not even on the team.
Well, right. Someone picked him up as a
Oh,
backup.
did they?
I thought you meant he got cut by them. Like,
No, he got cut by the Falcons. He's
like
not even on
this
the
dude
roster
doesn't
anymore.
even have hands anymore.
No.
He doesn't know how to throw a football. Okay.
He might not. I don't know. We'll see.
So Kaderil Hodge, I don't think he played for the Falcons last year.
I
And
have Darnell Mooney.
Hodge, London, Ray McLeod, who was like a return man, like sixth option for the Niners, I think, last year. Darnell Mooney, and then Casey Washington. Like, I don't know if those guys are better than I think they are or like improved in the offseason, but that's a dog shit receiving core as
It's
far as
not.
I'm concerned.
No, it's not. And I think the question is we still don't know how good Kyle Pitts is. Like he was drafted what, sixth overall as a tight end. And so when you do that, you expect to see you see Travis Kelce, right? And he just was not that, hasn't been that. And a lot of people, I think, blame the way that he was used by Arthur Smith. But maybe they don't need a good receiving core if he can come on and be Travis Kelce or close to that. And then if you've got a good running game, maybe they feel like their offense is complete. I don't. I just, again, too many questions at quarterback. So no, thank you.
I'm going to go. I'm starting to think I should have gone lower, but like someone's got to win games in this division. So I'm going Falcons 9-8.
I'm going to go 8-9 for the Falcons.
8-9, 9-8.
I still think they'll be towards the top of this division, but I just think they're going to be bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I think. And since we think the same, it must be right.
Must be.
Now,
clearly,
you've got the Carolina. I couldn't think of something.
Oh, they're the Panthers.
The Panthers.
They're not the Stinkers.
The Stinkers?
They're not. That's not their official name. They're still the Panthers.
This roster is gonna I think
Tepper disaster
it's gonna
areas.
Put a virus on my computer. I think.
They've got Andy Dalton though.
All right.
Red Rifle.
Bryce Young. Let's just say the reason he wasn't so great last year was because he had nobody around him. I mean, I think there's certainly some merit to that. Yes. And I'm going to be the guy who, I don't know, I think he carries himself, like he seems sort of like humble, like he's not, well, he didn't have much to be cocky about, I guess, but I'm going to play the card that he's going to have an improved season and they're going to, I guess, have a better season than the most people think they will. I mean, that's where I'm going with the Panthers. I'm not going to get too crazy with it, but so what do we got for the Jims and the Joes? Ooh, bro, they have Andy Dalton. Was he on
They
the
do.
team? Oh yeah, he was on the team.
Was he on the team last year? Was he on the Bears last year? No, that was
I
2
don't
years ago.
know.
I
He's
don't even
played for like
remember.
every
He
team
was
twice.
just. I don't. Yeah, that feels like it. I don't think he was on the Panthers last year, but I don't. He wasn't on the Bears. I don't know where he was. Was he on Atlanta last year? He played. He started some games last year for somebody.
I want to say he was on the
No,
Panthers
maybe he was.
for at least part of the year last year. The Red Rocket.
The Red Rocket or the Red Rifle, whatever. He's got red hair. Deal with it, people.
And he's played for, no joke, probably 10 teams by now, I would say.
Yes. He was good with Cincinnati. They were good when he was quarterback. They just didn't do anything in the playoffs.
He is 36 already. Man, I'm getting old.
Yeah.
It seems like it's like, oh, Andy Dalton just got drafted by the Bengals. Like, I don't know. It doesn't seem like that long ago, but
No.
apparently it was about 14 years ago.
Yeah, well, he's the same age as Kirk Cousins, apparently. Were they in the same draft?
I don't know. He certainly seems younger than Cousins to me.
He does. So he was okay, that's right. He was on the Saints in 2022 and he was on Carolina last year.
Got it. So Bryce Young, Chuba Hubbard
Mhm.
was kind of stepped in after McCaffrey went out, and I don't
Yeah.
know that he was really supposed to be the best back they had. I think he was just playing better than everyone else, and he kind of got the starting job. So they have Miles Sanders from the Eagles. That's where Deontay Johnson went. I was like, they had to pick up some sort of
Yeah.
receiver. So
Yep.
they got one who has all the talent but can't catch the ball.
And
Okay.
they drafted one.
Oh yeah, Leggett.
Xavier. Yeah.
So I don't pay a ton of attention to college football. So when I recognize a name, which Leggett, I do recognize that name, he must be pretty decent.
Yeah. I mean,
Jonathan Mingo, David Moore, and
your friend Adam Thielen.
Thielen. I
Yeah.
I could have swore they got rid of Thielen, but I guess he's still in the Panthers.
I mean, they need all the help they can get.
So Deontay Johnson, if he can catch the ball, okay. Leggett, probably expected to be pretty decent as a rookie. And then you got Thielen, who's a possession receiver. I mean, they improved. I mean, their receiving core was probably the worst in football last year. So to say they improved is not much, but they did, I would say. What do we got? Tight ends. Jatavian Sanders is a rookie. Don't know him. Judging by the fact that the other two tight ends are Tommy Tremble and Ian Thomas, I would guess Sanders is probably supposed to be the number one.
Would seem like it, yeah.
Okay. What else? I don't know. Like,
I know this is going to be a shitty team, and they're going to have a shitty record.
No one's going to tell you they think the Panthers are going to win more games than they lose. I do think that they will be better than most people think. This is kind of going out there. I'm not real confident in it, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say they're going to be 7-10.
I mean, somebody's got to be the worst team in the league. Why not the Panthers? I'm going to go 4-13.
All right, 4-13. So right now, most people would say the Patriots and the Panthers are going to be the
fighting it out for the
bottom feeders. So I will say, I mean, the NFL is pretty tough to predict. I would say one of those two teams is going to have a considerably better year than people think. There's always
that's fair.
A team that's supposed to be decent that really suck.
Yeah.
So
I mean, if Bryce Young comes on and figures it out and has, again, if you've got a good quarterback, you're gonna win more. You're gonna win more games than you lose typically. But I don't know. He had such a disaster of a year last year. I know he was a rookie. I also think that team isn't very well run, and there's a lot of chaos there, so that's never good. Yeah. I just feel like they're going to be bad. New England, I just feel like they're also going to be bad. We talked about that already, but yeah.
Okay, Panthers 4-13. Josh says I'm going 7-10, and let's move on. No more talking about them. They ain't winning the Super Bowl, so
no. Oh God, no. God, I best put a bet on them now, and as if they win, boy, that'd be a lot of money.
A
lot of money.
Yes. The Nolans Saints. Oh, you
Oh.
disappeared. That's pretty cool.
I've been doing this all podcast. I've been leaning back, and then all of a sudden I disappear into my illustration.
How far do I have to go back to do it? Whoa, let's get back on task. Okay. The Saints.
Magically appeared out of nowhere.
You don't like Dennis Allen. I don't think he's
first
a
coach
good
fired,
coach.
probably. No, not a good coach.
He's
had lots
Derek
of time
Carr, I don't know. Like, is there another team that I don't know is less interesting to talk about than the Saints? Like, what are they like?
No, I don't know, but here's the thing: they were in this division last year, right into the end. Both Atlanta, who I think is shitty, and the Saints, who I think are shitty, and Tampa Bay, who I think is probably the best team in this division. Still, they all sucked, and they were all around the same level of suckage. I think the floor comes out from all of these teams for the most part. Like this team, I'm going to say they're probably 5-12, and fuck them. Dennis Allen, first coach fired.
Hold on, 5-12 with a note. Yeah. Fuck them.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. If they go 5-12, I mean, when things aren't going well, Derek Carr definitely lets people know about it, and I think it would be interesting if that happened. Get a little something to talk about, a little entertainment out of it, and I like. Show me the person who thinks the Saints have a chance to like win a game in the playoffs this year. I don't think there are any of them. What's their? So I pulled like the over/under win totals for all the teams. It says 7.5. So I guess they're not expected to be terrible.
I mean, well, actually, that 8 games last year.
Yeah, that's not good.
No.
Yeah, I have the Saints 7-10. Josh says 5-12. I don't know. Like,
what can you say about them? They're not good. They're middling at best, and that's what this division was last year. Middling. They were all scrapping around at 8-9, 9-8, 9-8. Ended up winning division last year with the Bucks, and it came down to the last game, which is kind of exciting. And then the Bucks, for some reason, won a playoff game.
The gosh darn Bucks.
Yeah. So I just again, bad coach. Questions at quarterback equals bad NFL record equals probably don't make the playoffs equals regime change at some point in the season, most likely.
So I saw something that Alvin Kamara is in jail. Is that true?
Not that I'm aware. Better not. He's on my fantasy team. Better not be.
Yeah, it's probably a rumor.
I didn't hear
stuff that comes up on like social media that isn't even true. So.
Although I say a lot of stuff on this podcast that is just almost completely false, not intentionally. But so what the hell do I know?
I mean, it's on point with everything else, right?
I guess.
Okay, so I mean, Kamara, he's 29 now. Obviously, he's not quite. I would say, well, maybe he is just as shifty as he ever was. It's not like 29's that old. So let's make the case that the Saints are actually going to be decent. Okay, Derek Carr definitely has potential. Just seems like he can't play like 6 games in a row where he doesn't make a lot of mistakes.
Has he ever made the playoffs?
Yes. The Raiders were like 12-4 back in the. I think they
back under Jack Del Rio. Yes, one of the Jack Del Rio seasons. And then didn't they make the playoffs? Yes, they did. The Rich Bisaccia year when they fired Gruden, they made the playoffs as the 7th seed that year, didn't they?
Maybe, or else they just missed it. I'm not sure, but
But anyway, and then L. Davis Jr. is kicking himself for not hiring that guy as their head coach. Went with McDaniel instead.
McFart Nugget.
Nobody liked him. He was an asshat.
See, I was trying to make a case for the Saints, and it lasted like 8 seconds. But let's just say Derek Carr like plays as well, like has his best season.
Yeah,
okay? That's obvious. That's still a really good season. They got Taysom Hill, who does some goofy things and is hard to defend. They got Kamara, who obviously the ceiling is really high if he can stay on the field.
You have 4 quarterbacks in there. Well, I guess Taysom Hill isn't really a quarterback.
They got Jamal Williams, who, if you remember, scored 1,000 touchdowns for the Lions because the Lions' offensive line was so good, and he just got the ball from the 1-yard line.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the, what do they call it when you got a dynamic back and then you got like a back that just like runs up the middle. they got that combination. Olave was a rookie last year, I think. I don't know, he's in his third year. Really good receiver. There was some drama around him last year, but let's just say that he plays up to his potential. Rashid Shaheed is a burner on the outside, and Carr likes to throw the deep ball. They got Cedric Wilson from the Cowboys. Yeah, I mean, like, you could make a case.
You could,
but we're both kind of low on the Saints. I'm going 7-10. Yep. He's going 5-12.
5-12.
And
look at Dano.
We can't talk about them anymore.
No, let's not.
Not today.
The Buckaroos.
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Boop-a-doo. The last Super Bowl winner from this division.
The Tampa Baker Mayfields.
B-Make.
Baker Mayfield
or B-May
got an extension, but it wasn't like crazy.
Got $100 million, I think.
Is that a lot?
Nah, I guess
100
depends. Not if you're Jeff Bezos.
Million. Okay, Mayfield. We'll see. This is obviously that like inflection point probably isn't the right word, but he got paid. He had a good year last year. He kind of became what some people thought he could be in a way. So now does he take another step, or was last year kind of like just one of those years where things went right?
He has more playoff victories than
Dan Marino.
No, not Dan Marino. Shit, the guy from the Ravens, whose name I cannot remember. Lamar Jackson. Yes, and that's odd to me, but he's got 2 playoff victories to his name.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Rashad White, pretty good running back.
Yeah.
They still got Evans and Godwin on the outside. Yep. Trey Palmer had a good year as a rookie last year. Cameron Johnson, Jalen McMillan, 2 rookies who must be pretty decent. Don't really know those. McMillan went to Washington. I do remember him. He was pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, pretty good receiver over there. Cade Otton had a pretty good year as a tight end last year. So they have a decent roster. Then you got Bulls, who's defensive minded. So the defense is usually going to be pretty decent. I'm starting to think, no, I'm not. The Bucs suck.
I think they suck, but the division sucks. So
yeah,
they have the best quarterback in the division. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that right now. And that's not necessarily an endorsement of the quality of Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, just against who he's stacked up against in the NFC South. I think he's the best.
Mayfield over Cousins, huh?
Yeah. How many playoff victories does Cousins have?
I don't know. 0?
I feel like no. Wasn't he the guy who authored that comeback victory over the Saints? That miracle throw?
No, that was Case Keenum.
Case Keenum did that?
Oh yeah.
Then yes, 1000% Baker Mayfield is the best quarterback in this division.
I'm gonna look like an absolute idiot if Cousins won a playoff game for the Vikings and I don't remember it, but
it was only there 4 years, right?
I don't know. I should know that too, but I don't really
care. I don't think he was, because they made the playoffs 2 years ago. I don't think they won a game. Maybe they did. I feel like he's got 1 playoff victory to his name, but that's Baker Mayfield still has twice as many. So best quarterback in the NFC South.
Okay,
9-8. Look at Dano.
9-8, huh? All right. I went 7-10. Josh is going 9-8, and since we went through these kind of quickly, it leaves us a little bit of time to tell you what we think we're most confident in.
Definitely, because I think lots of big thoughts.
So I'll go first. I'm going to do sort of like a 3-star, 2-star, 1-star deal where it's like the 1 stars are like, you like it. The 2 stars are you love it. And the 3 stars are you got to have it. Like, what is that? Cold Stone Creamery. That was their sizes. Like the big one was got to have it. The middle one was love it. And
does that exist anymore?
Yeah.
Cold Stone Creamery, is that a thing still?
Real close to here, but
well, there's not a lot that's real close to here.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing. So here we go. And this is probably too much, but take it for what it is. So I do think the Bills are going to struggle this year. Their win total is if you talk to Vegas, it's 10.5. I think they will be under that. I went 8 and 9, and I feel pretty confident in the under there. That's a 3-star. Gotta have it. The Jets, I also think I'm pretty confident they're going to have a good season. Their total is only 9.5, which makes me think they probably have a tough schedule, or else Aaron Rodgers' Achilles doesn't work at all.
I think that's what Vegas is saying.
So I'm going over on the Jets, and I like it. Or I mean, it's a 3-star for me. Same with the Chargers. I'm going over. Theirs is 8.5. I had them 10-7. That's 3 stars. Moving on, I got the Bengals over 10.5, 2 stars. Browns under 8.5, just 1 star. I don't know. Like, I think Watson's going to struggle, and you're going to see just maybe a disaster there. So that's why I'm going there. But I'm not like super confident in it.
I mean, who comes into play if Watson isn't good, or he hurts himself, or he implodes?
Good
like,
question.
Who's the backup in Cleveland?
We talked about this a few weeks ago, but I was thinking that too. I don't remember.
Well, the roster's going to be different than.
Winston. They have Jameis Winston.
Okay, so that's just.
They have like the biggest.
Was it the worst quarterback room in the NFL?
I mean,
it's one of them.
Most drama in their history combined, I would say, maybe.
Yeah. Not a great. The Browns.
Steelers, their total's 8.5. I had them 10-7. I'm 2 stars on that one. Moving to the AFC South, not real confident in a bunch there, but I do think the Colts are gonna underachieve and the Titans will overachieve. Colts is 8.5, I think. Under Titans is 6.5. That's pretty low. Like, I think they might be one of those teams that kind of
surprise.
Yeah. Like, Levis is actually good, and the new coach maybe is good. Decent.
Callahan,
maybe don't they have Pollard? Like, maybe
they do have Pollard. They replaced oh crap, I don't remember anybody's name anymore. Derrick Henry, yeah.
So 1 star each for the Colts and Titans. Eagles under 10.5, 1 star. Giants, like, I'm gotta be one of the few people who think the Giants are gonna like win, be close to 500 or over. So I'm going, but I'm sticking with it. 3 stars. Giants over 6.5. Cardinals over 7.5. 3 stars. Rams over 8.5. 2 stars. And I'm done. That's a lot, but it's recorded and
locked in.
We're gonna bring it up at the end of the year when I go like 3-11 or something like that. Okay, now I'm gonna put you on the spot. Let me know what you like.
I like the Jets over 9.5. I think that's pretty much a lock. I mean, they were close to it last year with nobody at quarterback. And I like that. I think that's a good bet. You know what? I like also the Broncos of over 5.5. I think that's going to be pretty good. I think Sean Payton's a good coach, and it feels like he might have caught lightning in a bottle with his rookie. So we'll see what they can do there. I love the under for the Browns too. I feel like that's just again, they don't have the quarterback position solved. Deshaun Watson just feels like a disaster. I do think Stefanski's a good coach, and that defense is probably still pretty good, but I think the under 8.5 sounds right. Again, there's so much turnover year to year with playoff teams. Most of them fall off a cliff and don't make it back. This is one of the teams I think that will fall off. And then the Texans at over 9.5. I think you can lock that in. I think they're going to be good. I think Stroud is magic. I think they've got a good coach. Those to me are the 2 biggest things you need to win. So lock that down. That is, I think that's a Super Bowl contender for sure.
All right. We'll let Josh scan through the list and see if he's got any more that he likes.
No, I don't like anything else. Those are the ones I like. Those are the ones I feel most confident about. You know what? I will throw out the Jags too. The Jags at the under at 8.5. I think that's another team that's going to fall apart. They fell apart last year. They won. They were leading the division to the very last game of the season, but they were question marks, I think, all over the place. A lot of doubt. I think that carries over into this season. Trevor Lawrence hasn't established himself like a lot of people thought he would. Take the under there.
All right. So we've gone through all the totals and what we think, and we've given you some predictions. So we're not going to talk about win totals anymore. Next week, we're going to talk about the first week's point spreads. And we have NFL football,
actual real life
next day.
Yay.
The Ravens and Chiefs to kick it off should be a good one. Obviously, the Ravens are looking for some redemption.
That's right. That'd be an interesting game. Who you got?
I don't know. I think the Ravens will play them tough. I don't know if they'll win. I don't know. Like I do think it'll be a close game. I hope
it's good.
If it's close, like I don't like. Do I trust the Ravens to pull it out in Kansas City? Remember, Kansas City played the opening game
against Detroit
year before and lost at home. So that's in their mind a little bit.
They won the Super Bowl anyway. I don't think Kansas City cares about this game as much as the Ravens do. I think that has to be a true statement because Kansas City has shown that it doesn't matter if you lose the first game at home, you still win the Super Bowl. They have 3 Super Bowls already under this regime. The Ravens, I think, need this game for a lot of different reasons. I still think they might lose, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I just, for some reason, I feel like this is just going to be a letdown for the Ravens. But
I think the Ravens get a lead and then either blow it or almost blow it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, maybe.
But we will do all the point spreads. We'll guess them, and then we'll see how close we were, and we'll let you know who won the week, so to speak. Yeah. But really just gets us talking about all the matchups.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen, there's a Friday game next week.
Oh, yeah.
The Packers are playing somebody in Brazil.
Oh, it's in Brazil. Peacock has this Friday contract, right?
That's right.
It's
only a handful of Friday games.
If they could do it, I would be fine with having NFL every day.
I would love that. Yeah. I mean, they got to find something to do in the off season. I can't take baseball. Once basketball ends, it's a fucking desert.
Yeah. And there was quite a few half decent college football games last night too, which kind of, and I mean, there was some college football last week, but it was only a handful of games. And I don't like college football as much as NFL, but it was nice to like you said, in the middle of the summer, it's just baseball is mostly what's on. And now that football's back, I'm kind of excited.
Very excited for the season. Can't wait for it to start.
And my Twins suck. They're 2-8 in their last 10. They're trying to fall out of the playoffs. So I need to switch gears.
It'd be nice if Chicago had baseball. You think for as large a market as this is, there would be at least one team in the city. But, I guess you can't have everything.
So I think it's too little too late. But the Cubs have won 7 of their last 10. And they're the second team out. But they're still 5 games out. So,
I mean, I think Milwaukee has walked away with the division by this point. It's not.
Right. They basically need the Braves, Padres, or Diamondbacks to kind of fall off. And I don't know if that's going to happen, but
it's not. And they were great at the beginning of the season, and then they fell off a cliff, and they're trying to resurrect themselves. So maybe that just means something for next year. I don't know, but a disappointing season for Craig Counsell in his first offering.
Yeah, and if there's any prayer that they make the playoffs, they play the Yankees and Dodgers back to back in 2 weeks.
Amazing. How about that Aaron Judge, huh? Gonna hit 60 homers.
Yeah, that's
60,
pretty incredible.
63, I think he's on pace. Something like that. He's gonna break the Maris record.
He's a stud. Obviously, that's crazy.
It is.
But I don't know if I was 6'8", had all that plate coverage. I don't know. I think I'd be.
Why doesn't he do it every year? That's what I'm saying. Come on, man. Come on, Aaron Judge.
What a loser, man. Okay, that's it. We're done for the day. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Go Vikings!
Go Bears.